Fuentes does not.
Look, I'm not a huge Fuentes fan type thing. Like, I'm not kind of, but you'd be surprised that even the Ali Akbars, these people do have influence, because they have the ears of people like Roger Stone and other insiders, so you may not necessarily hear, your mom doesn't hear what they're talking about, but other people who are in the fucking Washington DC complex, the Washington DC industrial complex, they all fucking know.
You know who moves the needle more than Nick Fuentes? Random motherfuckers on the internet that Michelle Obama and Barack Obama are talking about right now on Michelle Obama. They mentioned the manosphere. They mentioned the manosphere.
Huh?
They mentioned the manosphere on her podcast.
Okay. You just proved my point. It took people. It's all. See, this is what I am on clubs. I'm a fucking battering ram. Okay? Diego wants to go in and tap dance with the Jews and whatever, okay? And I smash the wall of the fucking Overton window, and by doing so, I create that space. There's a vacuum that gets created, and it has to be filled, and that conversation that fills it is only possible because people like me have been so destructive. Now, we individually don't create huge amounts of change, but the people that then are, sucked into that vacuum, okay? So Michelle Obama and these other people have been sucked into that vacuum because there were people in fucking 2005 and 7 on the internet talking about the red pill movement and men's rights and fucking feminism, right? Like the manosphere got fucking coined, right? Like those people led the charge and they dragged the Overton window. They created that language, that whatever. If they didn't do what they did, that's the Nick Fuentes, that's the Ali Akbar, that's the Milo Yiannopoulos, that's the Mike Sonovich. Those people are the ones who move the Overton, are possible. They are capable of moving the Overton window, so that the more influential people with the bigger audiences follow suit. And it's like you take the car into second and third gear, okay? But you can't get into second and third and fourth gear without first gear. So I'm first gear, right? I break through the wall. I get the thing going. That's what I'm. But you never get Michelle Obama talking the manosphere or Bitcoin or whatever what was once a fringe idea, unless someone was at the fringe pushing the fucking boundaries.
Look, I'm not negating the fact that all you need is the right person to see your video or just whatever thing, right? But I'm saying to move the masses or whatever, or to have your cohort. I say Nick doesn't have the same cachet that Candace does.
For sure.
The fact that she even sat down with him, I think is kind of telling on her part, whatever, right? So it's almost like lending her platform to him because she agrees with certain things. Obviously, they disagree on other things.
I don't know. I would have to go there. Was this recent?
Yeah.
You went off on her.
For a little bit. For a little bit, but that's a conflict with the whole thing. Most of it was real chummy.
I think I sent it to you. Wait, you didn't see the video with Candace and Nick Fuentes?
Bro, I didn't see it. Sorry. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
This app is a psyop.
That's amazing.
I'm moving down.
Fucking conversation. Go take it.
I'm sorry, Bernie.
You see, you get one person to affect change, and then the rest follow it behind. That's amazing.
No, seriously though, Candace Owens or whatever was talking to Nick about starting a family and being married, and Nick kind of gave a bullshit answer. I thought it was a bullshit answer.
I'm making a good shit in it.
You do know that the protest is gay, right?
Yeah.
That's a rumor. That's a rumor.
He said it's more than a fact. He's even watching gay trans porn. He didn't say he's gay. He's watching trans porn.
I don't know about that.
Look, I think we are actually kind of talking about the same person. a pyramid, like a pyramid scheme or whatever, like divide up into like 4 levels. At the tip of the pyramid, there's a small triangle. It's the smallest volume. That means that someone at the tip of the pyramid or the edge has the smallest amount of reach. But you can't get to the next fucking trapezoid or whatever the fuck it is, right? The lower levels, which and the further you go down away from the fringe or the beginning, the tip of the spear, right? The more volume it gets, right? So they have more reach. So Candace Owens she's not second. I don't know, maybe she is because she's touched on sort of edgy shit, like the fucking Epstein stuff or whatever, right? Criticizing the fucking Jews. So she might even be second level, but she probably deserves to belong in the third level because she has like extreme influence. But she's not on the 4th level, which is the biggest level, which is like Oprah, right? And fucking Michelle Obama. But you don't get to your message, your thing, your issue, your cause, unless there was someone at the tip of the spear. So like it takes so long. How long ago was the manosphere term coined? And how long were those issues raised online? And then it takes all that lagging time for people in the lower levels, but bigger levels, like Michelle Obama to eventually start. So you don't ever get to those lower levels without people like Fuentes at the tip of the spear fucking actually driving. You got me defending it.
No, you have the tip of my bullshit.
It's just the kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever, man. Like, if he says something correct, he says something correct. Do I agree with him on certain things? No. There's nobody on the planet I agree with most of the things on. There's going to be disagreement. Like, I don't care.
You don't agree with me?
What?
You don't agree with me?
89% of the time.
But Randy, you don't find it ironic that Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, they're all off the MAGA game, and the last man standing is Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, but Alex Jones on his desk about to throw up crying, talking about like how he still supports Trump, but he doesn't like him particularly.
I told you guys, Trump is a faggot.
I saw it clip. I need to watch it full. He kind of finally admitted that he is the Jew.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing though, Tim. What he was trying to do is distance himself from that because he's a lightning rod. Because he knows like saying certain things for him gets exploded. But Owen Schroeder's been saying that pretty much the whole time.
No, when he got the okay from Alex, though.
Yeah, but Alex did that a while ago though. Because Owen's been on that for at least 2 years.
So I
2 years, come on, right?
At least 2 years on the InfoWars website, man. That's a big deal.
But, okay, Randy, then explain this. Why was Ben Shapiro never Trumper and now he's the last MAGA standing?
That's funny.
I'm asking you
Someone needs to
guys.
make like a little cartoon of him.
I'm more interested in if you guys are still on the Trump train.
No.
I'm off it.
Come on, man.
I just want Trump to get rates cut and just print money. That's all I can.
My baby.
Well, that is true, but also, I mean, he is a faggot. I've been telling you guys that this guy is a PDF file.
Yeah, but you like him though.
Randy, I thought you make money when they print to print. I thought that's how you.
I mean, are you looking at the stock market? Hey, Rico! My ice and love.
How you doing, motherfucker? Is SPC down or what's going on?
Overall, it's like 35%.
Oh, we're up to 405 today. Nice. Yeah, it was a good purchase. 8% today. Okay. All right.
Guys.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a good pick, Randy.
PDF file, and you still be.
Look, there's nothing wrong with being Trump to file. Look at Epstein. I'm just saying Trump is wrong, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Let's see. And it's not that there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, what's her name? Ghislaine? She's in prison for no reason. She's like Diddy. We need to get her out.
Diddy was an asset. Too.
Free D.
Keegan, are you still a Trump star or what?
Yeah, it's Keegan and Ben Shapiro that are left.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that Donald Trump likes to play with a little ass. But I'm just saying, I mean, I would want that.
Andy, have you ever had sex with a woman with short hair? From behind, that's exactly how it looks.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, it's official. There's nothing wrong with pedophilia, it seems.
I do actually enjoy the response. I do enjoy the response, though, other than, of course, the Zionist Jew lovers in this country. I do enjoy the response. A majority of people are like, hey, we're not going to let this die down. Like you said, you were going to release everything we had on Epstein. Release it. We want to know who's involved. Like, how is it that the most prolific sex trafficker of all time doesn't...
Absolutely nobody.
He has no clientele. There's no one did it.
I love it though. It's like she's in prison right now, and he killed himself. But there's actually no evidence.
There's no reason for him to kill himself.
So they never happened.
No, but you see what's happened? No, okay, so why did he kill himself? Because there's no
I'm
crime.
saying, look, we can't really say, we're paying, but continuing, it's going to take another year or so. They're not keeping they're just saying no.
No, the reason he killed himself is because the Democrats created a hoax, which would have been worse than death for him.
Is this you?
Like, nothing makes any sense. Nothing makes any sense here with that shit, man. So no. So, if he had been pranked, and like, kind of like, did the whole, like, Trump thing, and been like, hey, okay, so we can't release it right now. We thought we could, but there's going to be, like, people tied to him that he tried to insulate from, that, aren't tied to him, whatever, and he basically want to entangle as many people as possible, to make it harder. That would be one thing. But to sit up here and just be like, oh, it's a hoax, created by the Democrats, this motherfucker, like, he was on Lifestyles of Rich and Famous during George W.'s fucking administration. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Trump is a PDF file, and he's always been saying, oh, let the Democrats release it. He knows they won't release it because if he says,
I don't know that to be true though. Like, I'm not gonna say it.
We gotta stop doing this, guy. Trump, truly, there have been multiple accounts being interviewed by multiple people in the early 2000s saying, I like it on the younger side. Oh, I know Jeff Epstein. That guy likes on the younger side like me. Like, what are we doing? Why are we lying?
We talking about lying? No. If I get presented correct. No, if I could get presented correct.
That's not what he said.
I'm like, he did say didn't he say something about young pussy? I'm like, young pussy could be 40 years old, man.
he can also be 8 years old.
Yeah, true. Like, look, I'm not disputing that.
All the things
I'm saying, like, that's not
He said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and some of them tend to be on the younger side.
That's true.
But to a 50-year-old, what's young? Anything like
We'll get to taken out of context.
First, let me say it this way. An 8-year-old is young to everybody.
not the 7-year-old.
So I'm old.
So not the 7-year-old, Randy.
Here's
If a 7-year-old buys an 8-year-old, it's not a big deal.
No, it pretty much is, man. You don't want 7-year-olds fucking 8-year-olds, man. That's crazy.
Here's in 2002, Donald Trump's quote about Jeffrey Epstein. I've known him for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, but many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life.
Yeah, where was that? You took it out of context of that magazine. It's a harmless quote.
Well, Trump
If you read the whole article, which I did the other day, it's kind of funny because all of them talk about how Epstein is like this quiet, reserved guy who doesn't do anything. He's just very wealthy, doesn't like to go out, and then Trump's like, yeah, this guy loves the party.
You're gonna accuse Epstein right now, but like, who is it that typically says like, oh, I like that old pussy?
DiCaprio only dating like 3-year-old.
It's good, but that doesn't matter.
He broke his 75-year-old rule cutoff, man.
He's a homosexual from Mar-a-Lago. Didn't do that because he hit on the ex-Mar-a-Lago owner. Trump used to be.
I have heard this. I don't know if it's true, but I have heard it that he banned Epstein because he was hitting on some staff member or some shit.
No, he's hitting on the Mar-a-Lago guy's daughter. So Trump didn't build the Mar-a-Lago, he bought it. Right, so the guy who owns Mar-a-Lago, his daughter, Trump was trying to on
Randy, that's not what happened. What's happening is he's trying to recruit her, and the guy said, "Don't you understand this? The daughter of a big man. Are you stupid? You can't traffic her." And that's what
I'm not saying it couldn't be plausible. I'm just saying we're the evidence of it.
Out of the budget, where's the evidence she got in her life? Somebody right now.
With his daughter, it's weird, but I mean, there's other people that do weird shit. My person is not explained. Yeah, there you go.
He was made by the Jew.
He was Germanic at first. He was Germanic at first. No,
There's cutoffs for these things. Like to see like babies run. Like at what point? What age do you put a bra on a female? You know, when they're like newborns.
teens.
Yeah. What time do they need to wear a bikini top when they're jumping into the pool? There's ages for this. There's an upper age limit for your daughter sitting on your knee and like saying she's. You know.
I'm saying it's 7 years old, dude. So I had like a niece like who was, and it was uncomfortable. You know, she like thought it was normal, like just I'm gonna sit on your lap. You know, it's like whoa, for a good second, but
It's incumbent upon the parents though to do those boundaries.
But did you ask her I had to slap my fucking niece?
there you go. So what do you get the slap on your hand?
In the face.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's how you liked it, Tim?
Oh God.
No. It was like.
I'm glad it's gonna be a little slap.
Like she couldn't let it go, Tim?
No, she didn't. My face again.
Wow, she got a feisty one.
It was
Is that English?
wild.
She called him cunt.
No. She called me a fucking cunt.
Tim, was it like that Batman? Like that Batman you? Was that slapping you?
Yeah. No, it's mine. No, it was actually. I took her phone off her, and she freaked out like, "Your dad's doing this to me!" And like, I put it in my pocket. I'm 6'2", in my jean pocket, right? Like you're not. And she like lunged forward as if she was trying to take it from me. I just grabbed her wrist like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she started hitting me, and I just swatted. It was like swatting a tennis ball away from flying at you, you know. It wasn't. But she called me a fucking cunt twice afterwards. And then in front of her mother, I provoked her because of like, I was worried how this might go in front of my sister. It's like, Jesus Christ, this was insane. So I provoked her. I got her to basically say, I was very intentional with what I did. You know, I beated her. And my sister nearly slapped me when she said it. You know, so like, I actually wish I did when she said it, that like, at the time, you know, but I was.
How
Anyway, 14.
what is
They gave her a phone.
And you know what's crazy? This is like just to show you how bad it is. So I have to normally but I for a couple hours twice a week I take care of my niece and my nephew when my sisters at work or whatever, right? When they get home from school.
what is
The kids are all off school. The kids are all off for summer. My niece was a little cunt, and she had her phone taken off her, and she was driving down a whole lot. But she's now been rewarded with autonomy and freedom. She now gets to, under 16, by the way, which is illegal. She's at home at my sister's house with my nephew's here. So now I'm just taking care of my nephew. She's rewarded with autonomy and freedom because she doesn't want to come here. Well, like, they're basically making the little demon even worse, right?
Well, this man was just that.
Well, Uncle Randy is.
I'm still stuck on how Trump is a PDF file who likes to clap little ass
Uncle
cheeks.
Randy would get his ass beat by my fucking voice.
Wait, hold on. By Rain's own admission, Epstein did nothing wrong. Why are you upset that Trump is that scared?
Okay, go ahead. What did he do this one? Go ahead.
No, I'm asking you if Epstein is the same thing as Trump, then why are you
If he did something wrong, what is that?
No. All I'm doing is asking your position. Like, you understand what my position is.
So that my position is not so different from yours.
No, you said Epstein did nothing wrong.
Are you saying he did something wrong?
I didn't say
Wait, Randy, here's what we have actually confirmed is that some super hot blonde that worked for Ghislaine used to recruit high school girls in South Florida and have them come to the island. What? Are you really against the fact that consenting 17-year-old girls went to party and got banged by 50-year-olds?
No, I do understand that. I do understand that Epstein really cared for the youth and he tried to help them.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's exactly what I thought we should
crazy, man.
These guys, they don't get it. But they don't want to get it.
Have as much a problem with that, but I really don't think that they were being upfront. Like, it's not like, oh, hi Ali, something Ali, pay me $25.
Where's the proof that they recorded that?
Blah, 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 fuck you. It's not as upfront as that. I think that they were coerced, like, they were like models, or they were just masseuses, or whatever the fuck they were. And then they get to the fucking
Where's the evidence?
Dude, it's the Arabs that are nasty. It's the Arabs that take the dumps.
Where's the evidence that they got recruited?
The Arabs take the dumps on the girls. Those are the nasty ones.
That was actually the court case, though, right?
What's in the court case?
The recruiting efforts.
Oh, okay, but so usually, so you're recruiting them to do what?
Once they're recruited, usually a girl would go and tell the other girls in high school, hey, you can make money if you go and do
So
this.
you guys do know that when someone really cares for young people and he supports them, and then he cuts off that support, then they're gonna be pissed, and then you start the hearsay, and then they have that together. Exactly, and also the rise of anti-Semitism. If they were recruited, what were they recruited?
He pivoted. That's pretty good, man.
If Epstein did what did he recruit them for? That's my question. That's my whole
So they don't have an answer for that. We recruited them to recruit more.
To do what? When you recruit someone?
More sex. You always want new pussy, dude. There's nothing better than new pussy. Nothing.
Okay, but if you're recruiting them, you're recruiting them to do something. What is that thing?
Whatever. Have sex.
What? Get you out of the proof, bitch.
First off, if you get
tells us in his own words that it was just a massage he received. No happy ending.
Hey, if he did recruit him and he did put that up here, he would actually be committing a crime. Especially if they were underage.
No, I totally get that. What I'm saying is he is incapable of committing a crime because he can't be tied to
Because he's a
proof.
Jew.
No, because he can't be tied to proof. There's no.
Because you haven't seen
Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, nigga.
Yes.
Okay, so until you come up, well, we have innocent until proven guilty.
Zane Maxwell has been proven innocent, like guilty in a court of law.
Well, it's just proven guilty of something that didn't happen.
That's right.
Wait, no, this is a case that proves that you don't need clients.
I prosecuted absolutely fucking nobody.
This is a case that proves that you love these clients.
It's like we're after reading it.
How are you
It's a crime of I mean, the crime, Randy, isn't the destination. It's the act, right?
That's right. It's the act.
Did they cross the state line or
The acts are committed by people.
That's right.
That's right.
But you're saying if they
were transported beyond a state or a international border, that could be argued that they were trapped.
So are you saying that?
Doesn't matter who paid.
So are you saying that with the knowledge of their parents and the consent of their parents, funding their hotel stays and funding their food, is that trafficking?
They could intercept them at the airport and stop in real time.
Well, why?
Doesn't mean they were on traffic.
Well, their parents consent. Their parents consent.
I'm sorry, their parents do.
Yes, they do. You can't turn alone unless your parents consent.
So they all got parental switch?
I'm just saying, we're not going to have
Did they all get
to.
parental switch with the teacher when they went to the island? There's no trips.
Where's the proof?
That's right. Where are the parental consent forms?
Randy is Jewish. Randy is an honorary Jew.
Those
I've never traveled it since.
They're conservative.
Kids can't just travel. They can't just travel.
Says she can smell your trooper.
No. When you're with a kid, you even have to prove that you're his parent. The kids can't just
No.
travel.
Unless it's from Mexico to U.S. border.
16. After 16, they can travel alone, if I'm not mistaken. But before 16,
You know, I flew alone when I was like,
yeah, but
I flew alone
actually,
when I was
flying
8
from
years
Dublin
old.
to Belfast isn't really fine.
Nigga, I got my passport or child passport for a thing. You're not old enough to remember this. Once upon a time, you used to just be able to fly, and your parents took you on board. I don't know when your parents had fucking flies. I flew alone internationally, and I went on all the time. Nigga, it's
If you traffic people, you traffic someone. Do something. Okay, so they've been trafficked to nobody.
I got a
do nothing.
passports were created. Do you know what that meant, nigga? When I was 8 years old, I got a 10-year passport. Until I was 18 fucking years old, I had a photo of me as 8 years old with a fucking side part.
You tell the truth first.
I've already done it. I'm not doing any careful.
Exactly.
I want to see your Randall sons.
That's right.
Oh, child. The little man, well, there's nothing wrong with it. We just have Anyways, all I'm saying is, if you are careless, but the hotel usually visits the police for underprivileged kids, and you can get with their parents' consent, how is that a bad thing?
Andrew Cheap cared for this woman too, but you know what he says? He says that if you buy them a fucking handbags and then they change their fucking mind, it's human trafficking. But if you treat them like shit, it's not a crime. It's amazing.
Hey, do you see Diego that Lauren
They're for their own flights. And you for all their own shit, and you fuck them up, and like whatever. It's not a crime. But if you pay all their flights and you give them nice gifts and you treat them well, like little Rowdy here is trying to say, they give human trafficking.
Well, that's why Diddy got fucked up with those 2 charges. And like, I believe it was dudes that he flew out to Huncho and Cassie, which is crazy.
Isn't he out?
No. Like they stated that he had to stay in because of the physical abuse, which he was not charged with. So I'm like, how the fuck does that work? You weren't charged with something, but they use it as a pretext to keep you in jail. And I'm not defending Diddy. I'm not defending Diddy. I'm telling you, that's crazy.
Because if Epstein went to the courts, he would have been able to prove that he did nothing wrong.
No, but he got found guilty years earlier though. He got a sweetheart deal. No. It was a similar kind of thing, but they got a sweetheart deal because the prosecutor was like, "Hey, this dude's intelligence."
That's right. Was he just trying to say he's an Ashkenazi Jew? Like he's intelligent?
Is there any proof that Alex Acosta actually said that?
Yes, nigger.
was secondhand. You saw the video?
I've been hearing that you. I thought I did actually, but.
Well, I thought it was the Berenstein Bears, but I believe it is the Berenstain Bears. I also thought that there was a movie called Kazam that was starring Shaquille O'Neal, but I don't think that movie ever existed. There we go.
Of course, and you believe there was a movie called Kazam? Is that what you're saying?
There was. He was a genius.
No. Go look it up, bro. Go look it up. You're about to have your mind.
There is no movie called Kazam.
There was a movie.
I believe it was called. Or wait, there was one Shazam. There is Kazam, but there's no Shazam. There's either Kazam and no Shazam, or there is Shazam, but there's no Kazam.
Either or, there was a movie where Shaq played a genie.
I do remember that. I believe that was called Kazam.
It was Kazam, yeah.
Okay, so I fucked up my own point, but the point is, I forget what the point.
He's an honorary book sack that I'm gonna.
Oh man, you're actually being a very good friend to me. The fact that you've asked me about this several times is very endearing. I feel supported by you. I need to do that. I'm driving right now, but
Always excuse.
I appreciate you asking me about it. You might be able to order it on Lulu if we can look for it when I'm in a minute, but you know about Lulu?
Yeah, I'm right here.
No, your name is Lou. Your name is Lou, but there's also a service that's called
Not in
Lulu.
private. Zach, not in private.
It's called Lulu.
Private, he's little Lulu.
Lulu.com is a self-publishing service where you can print your own books.
It's original. It's not like mommy.
And you can't. How come we read your book, Zach? Well, that's what I'm just trying to. Oh, yeah, you're like, I'm an author. I wrote a book. I said, all right, well, send me all. I'll buy the book.
I found it. If you right now, I can put the link in the chat, but I'm driving. But if you Google pages and alright, I'll put the link in the chat. Put the link in the chat.
Can you just send us the free PDF, please? Where you're
Put the link in the chat. Oh, there's no chat. There's no chat. The chat is off.
Activate the chat. Can we get a free PDF, please?
I don't think I have access to the PDF anymore. I think it's from an old computer, possibly.
There you go. Chat is activated.
Put the link in the chat.
Amazing! Put the link in the chat.
That shit doesn't work on Signal, bro. You have to send me some
I'm really bad at impulse control.
I was actually exerting authority.
Slap in the face.
So you have to send me your like fucking QR code.
Slap in the face.
Tim was slapping her face.
To be fair, it was like not. It wasn't like it. It was like on the forehead. It was just like, wow, this motherfucker.
Did she give you a gaping mouth face, like where she was like, she can't believe you just did that?
No, but there was kind of. But there was this like. It's like when our fighter gets rocked in the jaw on the light side first and second. There was this momentary like recalibration going on where it was like, as Lou worded it, it's like you find the laws of physics, like, you're not making it, that's not making it possible. You know, like she was like it hit her as a 14-year-old, but it was just like reflexive. You're like, what the fuck? Like, but it was like, it never occurred to her that it may be possible that she might get a slap in the fucking face.
Slap her face.
And also, like, the nose is very sensitive, so like, I'm sure one of my fingers may hit her nose. And it's very, it was just funny to like instantly watch the like, and then the fucking tears just start coming. Like, it was funny. You know, I shouldn't have been, it was funny, but it was funny.
There you go.
But she fucked around. She
The same for the future wife.
Oh, I've done worse than that.
Okay.
But they asked me to do that.
Zach, have you ever had her?
We all scream for ice cream, Tim.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna put her in Bella's dog crib.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Because if I put her in the fucking bedroom, unlock the door, she'll like fucking wreck the furniture. You know, she'll go schizo, break the blinds, or you know, something like that. So, fuck that bitch.
Dude, did you see the CEO get caught at the Coldplay concert?
Yeah, the Coldplay concert.
Do you think that he got set up? Do you think that was a setup? Like someone did that on purpose?
Probably. Every fucking conspiracy.
No, that was
I'm just saying, it's the type of thing that.
No one forced them to stand in public and like, you know,
No, of course not. No, of course not. No one forced them to do that. They did that all on their own. But I'm saying, like, isn't that the kind of thing someone of like Zach's persuasion would do if they wanted to kick them out as a CEO?
Okay, but that's assuming a lot of things that would go right, et cetera, and that they would be in a position to actually have that control and so forth. What it is, it's like at scale, everything is true, right? Like in the realm of big numbers, you know, someone's gonna have fucking big vagina, okay? But in a group of 100 people, that's not it's that to do
Are we talking about that?
yeah, happens, okay? But you know, you get a big enough group of people, like someone in there has done X, and like that's almost certain. So just a lot of big numbers. No, but you have enough concerts over enough days, or enough weeks, months, years of a career, and then you have many artists and many different events and fucking venues all around the world. Like, how often have you ever seen something that happen? Maybe it's
How do you know it was how did he know it was an affair? Why did he say that specifically?
because they look guilty as
Yeah, because like they immediately hit their face and like shame.
you saw the clip. The guy literally ducked down to get the fuck out of the camera shot, and the woman turned around, covered her face, and she went bright red. And her friend that was standing beside her was just laughing, like nervous laughter. And Chris Martin was literally saying, she's either really shy or they're having an affair. Like he just
It's a joke.
with the date.
It's a joke where
That guy's a CEO. That guy's probably gonna get like that guy's getting replaced by the board. You know?
Yeah, he's lost like $60 million.
You know, like that's like it's a nearly $1 billion company from what I remember seeing, right? PED, we were talking about this. So it's nearly like it's like a $700 million company. You know, he owns like he's not a majority shareholder. That means the board's gonna get fucking replace him. He's fucked. And that girl is HR. So they'll probably like quietly let her resign, you know? Or maybe they'll like promote her to a job of nowhere.
Well, what they'll do is they'll give her a settlement and ask her to leave. If she doesn't or whatever, they'll try to get her out the door like a year later. Like typically, what they'll do is big time. Like because if you're an underling, they can't get rid of you because
It's actually worse because she's like an executive or whatever. She's like she's rich, you know, and you try to this was like Walmart sushi buying a cashier. Like it wouldn't look good, but it wouldn't really be a problem. It's the fact that you've got like two company, you know, executives, you know, especially cheating. You know, it's like this is not it's secret. It's not like it's public and they're in a relationship.
Is hope inflation so bad in America that you have to be a taxi or fuck if it?
No, man. Like anybody's in close proximity to like the other sex for long periods of time, attraction and like bonds like to the world.
You know, he should be telling this. You know, he's never had a water cooler moment as a woman in the workplace. It'd be just like the light comes through the window at the right moment, the right way, and just like your hair glistens, and you're like, fuck the shit out of you right now. You know, even though you're a 4. But I just feel it. You know, like it just. You never had a water cooler moment, you know? Coffee, you know, in the lunchroom? You'd be like, yeah, that's right, bend over in those tight pants. I'd fuck that. That's great.
He just had the whole shot.
Oh, shit, we're in a business trip. There's only 3 of us away, and he's away to bed early, and then you end up banging the fucking accounts lady.
So where did we land when it comes to Epstein doing nothing wrong?
Chill out, man. We're talking about Coldplay. Nobody ever talks about
Coldplay, which is that thing on Signal.
Go ahead and tell Tim White he was right. Just go ahead.
Oh my god, here we go.
before that.
I did.
+1.
I am no Sunday.
Anyway, when you're in your 50s and you're a top CEO, I think you can do better than that.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger could do better than that. House cleaner.
That's right.
But, you know, like, but you're in the Matrix. You gotta, hey, please start over.
He's in a closet, dude. You need to get a nut off. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I said Arnold Schwarzenegger had to get a nut off. He's banging in the closet. He wasn't fucking her in the closet. He's like she's a wife or something.
No. I understand that piece, but I'm saying just not the area.
He could have fucking polluted her wife, bro. It's like he was being very clear. You're banging the housekeeper, bro, in your own bed. You know, you're.
No, he said it was in the closet. He said it was in the closet. You fucked her in the closet.
Yeah, but it's probably multiple times over there, yo.
Loving her life.
And it was probably multiple times. It was probably
No,
multiple times.
dude, you don't know third world wounds. They get pregnant like instantly, bro.
No, I mean that's cool and all, but it probably escalated, right? So she probably like gave him like some occasional every now and again, and then he's like, yo, I want to go up in that thing now.
Okay, all right. I mean, you're thinking like you're Carson. Yeah.
No, but I'm like, but get this, okay? He messed with the housekeeper, right? That's easy access.
Nothing wrong
I was like, well, most people do not mess with like like within reason, like a chick or whatever they can get because hey, the blowback that might come from it. This dude's messing with the housekeeper.
We're assuming
He probably haven't been doing that for a while.
Whoa. We're assuming that he instigated it. She did. They'd just be crazy too.
No, I'm not saying that. Okay.
She was divorced. She just got divorced. No, she just got divorced.
And Maria probably wasn't giving him none.
That's right.
Maybe the CEO was the reason for the divorce, bro. Maybe she was like, we have no idea. Maybe like he was gearing up to leave his fucking wife, but they got kind of caught,
Yep. It's happened
on
before.
fucking trips on the company expenses.
Yeah, it's happened before.
Well, it's wrong.
How many CEOs or executives have married a secretary?
That's the GPD.
And that was a common way to meet your wife, man, back in the day.
That's right. She is yours after.
And then leave that secretary for another secretary, like in Mad Men.
That's right. Trade her in.
So hey,
Fired and divorced.
like a lease, right?
Trade her in.
He doesn't explain that to do Carson. All I'm saying, Carson, is that if you wanted to destroy some CEO's life and you knew he was having an affair, that's the kind of perfect thing where you would just set it up.
Yeah. Make it look
With
natural.
the band, Yeah.
So it doesn't come back on you. But then
Make
again,
it go viral, you know what I mean? Viral is what you need.
He's not going to lose his equity in the company. Like he's a. Although he's like, I don't think he's a founder, but he was given they've read this out in TV. He was getting like a founder level equity package when he joined as CEO.
Wow.
interesting. Very interesting.
He seemed to have joined later, but then because they wanted him or whatever, so he'll still have a position on the board, being that level of shareholder.
They might do something where he kind of has to just step away and be like a quiet partner, and then slowly over time, like
Jeffrey
they'll buy the stock. They'll buy
Why did the guy have to step away? Some pussy. Like it's just some guy.
I mean,
Because he's not important. He's not a real man. He's not, like, he can't smack his bitch up in public in a club and be like, fuck you, I ain't going nowhere. It's my fucking company. Gina didn't do shit. Gina didn't go nowhere. And he smacked that bitch up in public.
yeah, too much different. That guy's probably not doing it.
It's like White is the fucking UFC, right? Like he is a cult of personality almost around the UFC. The UFC would not be not only what he has built into it currently is, but the UFC without White would be kind of like 80% or 70%. There's a big White factor in it, right? So, but the CEO, nobody fucking knows their name is completely interchangeable with another CEO where no one knows their fucking name either. So that guy's problem is he's a fucking nobody. This is why no one will ever remember your name because you didn't smack her in the fucking face and say "fuck you," I'm not going anywhere. Right. It's like the Brad Pitt in Detroit, isn't it? That's why no one will ever remember your name.
Yeah. But the reason why this is like so funny is because like it seems like a natural thing, regardless if it is or not, Diego.
It was Donald Trump's later Secretary of Labor, who was the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Florida, who took care of it for Jeffrey Epstein and took what was a prepared 60-count federal indictment to throw the booking down for this complex human trafficking, sexual abuse of minors.
I've been listening rather carefully, and I'm a little bit concerned that T-Rob's here got such satisfaction after hitting his niece in the face, and now he wants to put her in his dog cage. Let's just say something doesn't. Read a good book and take your fucking ass to the gym, you sick, twisted, demented fuck.
I got a question. I got a question for the room. Everybody think about that, please. The end is here.
Please hold on questions to the end.
I exclude y'all from this question. To the rest of the room, though, who is more apt to be on medication, Tim or John?
I'm going with Tim on this one. Well, it's a typical Schwartz question when you have nothing else interesting to ask. I mean, Karsten, how likely is it that you're on medication?
I don't know, man. Based on what, though? Based on what?
Actually, this is a whole room of medication people. Are you vaccinated, Karsten?
I am not.
Are you boosted?
No.
If you boosted, you'd have to be vaccinated.
You sure about that? Because is there really any difference between a vax and a boost? Guess what? It's a different word for the same thing.
Why don't you give us a little?
T-Robs was an Irish potato snitch living in Northern Ireland, using social audio chat apps to talk about beating his younger niece and how much satisfaction he got after he slapped that little cunt in the face. And now he wants to put her in his dog cage. What in the fuck is he talking about? Does the man decides to slap his niece in the face, as opposed to actually just like maybe peacefully saying, hey, we need to talk about this and relax? It's not going to slap you in your face and put you in my dog cage. Then come on a social audio chat app for 30 minutes and jump around like an excited little child talking about slapping his niece in her face. Just wanted to provide a recap on the room. I've got shit to do today. Fuck off.
We have said, like, once the judicial branch breaks down, because we were already talking about how they move when it comes to presidential immunity. I said, once the judicial branch breaks down, next is going to be the press. Like, this is ridiculous.
And we haven't even talked about how disgusting it is that this is our president.
We're alienated. Yep, until he's gone.
Man. And what people voted for is people could say pause here. They thought he could do this with the economy. Like, there's a lot of things that you can look at and say that outweighs a lot of others. Like someone that's constantly lying. He was lying in the first administration, and they played back video where he straight up lied, and he will hold to a lie. What's going on here, y'all?
You know, I had school-age kids during the Clinton administration, and I was a supporter of Clinton, but when the whole Monica Lewinsky thing happened, the way that I looked at it was that here was the, pop person in our whole entire legal system putting his hand on a Bible and lying. And that alone was like, what is this teaching my children? And that's why I was really in favor of that impeachment.
It's not all our fault, right? Because Elon Musk put in $291 million into his campaign, and you can't say that didn't have a lot to do with it. This is why Citizens United is a failure, allowing corporations to buy presidential elections. It's a very misleading bill, just like Big Beautiful Bill. Citizens United, Big Beautiful Bill, strips us of more rights. It's a neocon versus the Americans, and we gotta cut the head off the snake. It's gonna be Musk, like Netanyahu said. He's the real president.
Patty, is that clip that you're playing, is that about the letter or is that about the Epstein files? I came in mid.
It's about both. It was about the letter. It was about the letter and the Epstein files being released. And they said they're going to release, they're trying to get permission to release the grand jury. Nobody give a fuck about that. People want to see the appendix. That's what it's already it's not appendix, but the annexes.
That part, it's so funny to me that they are so desperate to put this fire out, and they really think with all of this noise that people go, oh, you released a grand jury testimony. Okay, we're okay. No, we want to see the files that Pam Bondi bragged about, obsessed about, bloviated about, that was sitting on her desk, that were waiting to be reviewed. We want to see those files that she was so confident about talking about. Where are those? That's what we want to see. Yeah.
Well said.
So, Matt Cool said, can the letter be sourced? Or they can't source the letter. So supposedly this letter came from some album that Maxwell had put together for Epstein's 50th birthday. And there's reports that says the Justice Department reviewed that letter. So,
Patty, did you see that as soon as he came out and made that comment? I don't even draw. I don't even like drawing. I didn't like drawing in kindergarten. Then all of a sudden, everybody just started spewing out all of these doodles that he does, and he sells a doodle to charity like every year. I just thought it was hilarious. That was fun.
lying about drawing and be selling. Fuck out of here. I don't draw. I don't even know how to spell. I don't write letters.
You know, what I think is we're seeing this. We don't know all the things we haven't seen.
Well, there's too many people that have been talking on how fucked up the administration was in the first administration, and they're more in fear of a second administration with Williams. So, not saying that they weren't loyal in the first administration, but at least a lot of them didn't want to go to prison, so they wouldn't fall in line. Or either got fired. So.
Well, for sure, but imagine, for example, if they were uncovered a little letter that he wrote to Putin, and suddenly, this becomes a national security issue. I mean, there's just, this thing happened to slip through, but we don't know how much stuff is out there that is compromising.
Well, we do know from Liv Parney's confession to Congress that there's a lot of shady shit going on in the administration back then.
Well, and I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Whether you want to believe Liv or not.
The reason I believe Lev is that I don't think he has anything to lose, frankly. I mean, he did his time. He has been on the inside. And so, I look at what his motivation is. I look at what his risk factor is. And it would seem to me he doesn't have anything to lose. He only has something to gain by, coming clean at this point. I mean, he's been doing that for a long time, actually. I don't like the guy. I don't support him. Yuck. But he is, it isn't surprising, actually, that people who've been on the inside of all of this buckery are going to be the ones who have the information. It just stands to reason.
Yeah.
I would think they would have a way to be able to, with the FBI, somebody would have a way to be able to confirm whether something is authentic or not. There's got to be a way, handwriting experts, all that sort of thing. We have all those tools.
And the DOJ definitely has those tools, so they know it's real, but it's not. And I believe he does too, so.
Patty, it also scares me because when things like this happen, to me, they are the impetus for him to do something worse, for him to take us into a war situation, to create a martial law situation, to do something really damaging and dangerous to distract and get the attention off of himself. Then I think we're at a danger place. It's not just the thing itself, it's the fact that the focus is now on that.
That's my biggest fear, is that he will get cornered and he will just randomly start a war to actually say, well, we can't have impeachment hearings because we're in the middle of a war with the enemy. That's really my biggest fear.
Right. That's when people are the most dangerous, the cornered animal thing. And he is so that persona. He's that person. He's that animal who will do that. And, he's got all the power in the world to destroy all of it. That's where it gets serious. I don't give a shit about Epstein. What I care about is what this leads to.
It's definitely a national security liability. You look at Netanyahu with the Syria bombing. He was under trial, under fire for war crimes against humanity, facing a life sentencing, and just like you iterated, the fact that they were able to do that, he was able to get out of sentencing. So it is a playbook play they're going to use if we don't get ahead of it.
It's so way to not have elections. This is, I believe, I don't know the law on this, but I think I'm right that if a country is at war, you do not have to have elections. You can decide to not have elections. I think this is all part of the plan of not having elections.
Yeah,
they have to have elections.
She's right, though. If he can keep dodging cases and keep dodging the courts, he will use that. He will pull that card.
No, you have to have elections.
We're 3 years out. We shouldn't even think like that. We need to focus on one thing at a time. He has more than enough evidence to be ousted, just like Netanyahu. So, the whole reason for October 7th was because of the uprising of Israel against Netanyahu.
Yeah, but I just want to
presidents to stop elections. None that I'm aware of. I could be wrong, but there's none that I'm aware of that they have any legal precedent to stop elections. Not the way the United States is set up. Patty, I don't know. I could be wrong.
Sorry, I just looked it up, and what I'm reading here is 47 U.S. Code 606-4 powers the president, and what it says is during a continuance of a war in which the United States is engaged, the president is authorized to cancel elections if he finds it necessary for the national defense and security to direct that communication as in his judgment may be essential to the national defense and security will have priority with any carrier subject to this chapter. He may give these directions at and for such times as he may determine and may modify, change, suspend, or annul them for any such purpose as he's authorized to issue orders directly or through such person or persons as he designates for the purpose through the mission. So I don't know. I'll put it in the chat, but I'm looking at Cornell Law School. The question I asked was, when can a president cancel elections?
Well, then, I stand corrected.
Predictable programming.
Yeah, but they can't do it unilaterally. So Congress would have to be involved. So the problem with this statement is Congress sets the date, right? There's certain constitutional provisions that's not going to allow him just to do it.
Also, Patty, what you're saying is he couldn't do it. Congress would have to agree that it's the best thing for the country. He could propose it, but Congress would have to approve it, is what you're saying, Patty.
Right.
Just like Congress.
I mean, they voted during the Civil War. They voted through wars. And then if you look at the 20th Amendment, it actually says, like, when it starts and what time, or the day it starts and what time it ends, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, probably the Constitutional Amendment to
Power in the world to destroy all lives.
we did vote through the freaking Civil War. And the World Wars. God, I can't talk today.
It's hard to compare this administration to any administration. We're watching them do unprecedented things against the Constitution, against our national civil liberties and rights as citizens and veterans. So if he's willing to step on all of our rights and repeal rights, if you give him an inch, he's definitely going to take a yard for 3 years. We don't have time to guess, is what I'm saying. So I agree with L. We need to move accordingly, like worst case scenario, not best case scenario, because he has never been honest.
Let me ask you a question. He seems to think he can issue an executive order to do anything he wants. So, for example, when he bombed Iran, that wasn't approved by Congress. He just did it. And that initiated a war, then Congress wouldn't have approved that war. It would already have happened.
Why now?
I see that fallout, L. You saying that he issued an order to bomb Iran, which caused a war.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying. So you're saying he could do that again. He could issue an order to bomb somebody, which would cause a war, which Congress, they could retaliate. Then Congress would have to approve for the United States to declare war on the country that retaliated. That's what you're.
That is what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is by that time we're in the war, at which point the question of elections comes up. I mean, obviously Congress is supposed to approve all of this, but he seems to be operating by executive order from minute one of this administration. So I'm just saying the action to bomb Iran that we just saw him do was not approved by Congress.
And he's getting away with it. No one's, he's doing it so fast and frequent, just like Netanyahu, that they can't even hold him accountable. The court system can't keep up with law breaking.
And how is this a stretch? We're just talking about what he just did. I don't know how that's a stretch. He literally just bombed Iran without Congress admission, without their permission. You go to Congress and say, hey, I think we should do this. How is that a stretch? That's a matter of fact.
But that wasn't war, that was military action.
You're right, Patty. You're right. That was military action. But El's point is he could take a military action that could cause that. I don't know. I don't know why that's such a stretch.
He could have easily initiated war, though, regardless if it was just a military action.
And there is nobody to stop him from taking ridiculous military action, like nonsensical military action. At least in the first administration, there were some generals that have been there a while to say, hey, bro, no, this is stupid. We're not doing this. There's nobody to stand in his way now. He's only surrounded by sycophants.
Yes, and SCOTUS is not going to do a thing because they've given him impunity. It's like checkmate.
I mean, the only thing that needs to be done is a 9/11 type attack where somebody from some organization from a different country to do an attack that causes property and civilian lives, and we will retaliate. If it's big enough, if it's important enough, Donald Trump will say we're at war. Come on, Republicans, whip this into reality, and then all of a sudden it just keeps going on. And Israel or Bibi is the biggest liability of it all.
Oh, absolutely.
I just keep going back to the fact that, since 2016, all we've been hearing, he's not going to do that, then he does it. He's not going to do that, then he does it. He's not going to win, then he wins. He's not going to do this. He's going to release his taxes, then he does it. I mean, literally, we have all these years of all of these things that you guys are fear-mongering. He's not going to do that, and then he does it. We have 8 years of that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's unconstitutional. He's not going to break the law, and then he does it. I mean, how many times are we going to get slapped in the face? And I just don't.
Well, and
It is endless. I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say that to me, when I look back at 9/11, one of the lessons of 9/11 was that who would have thought, like, we sat there, we stared at this, and it had never entered our mind. I mean, certainly never entered my mind, this image of airplanes flying into the Twin Towers. So if you haven't imagined it, you can't even, it's like outside the realm of what you think is possible, which is why I think, you call it fear-mongering. I don't think it's fear-mongering at all to actually envision all of the worst-case scenarios. And in a sense, the more bizarre they are, the more likely they are to happen because we don't see it coming, and then we don't prevent it.
Exactly. And to that point, liberal, I do want all of the Democrats, all of the Republicans, all of the people in power, all of them exposed. Every last one of them. Democrat, don't matter what party they're in, I want everybody exposed. And I believe most people that are independents and Democrats want the same thing.
The scary thing is we cannot clean house on the Republicans and the Democrats without cleaning Trump out first. If you do it the other way around, all power will go to Trump. You need to do him first, and then you can clean house. And then you can replace it, because that vacuum, if you clear out everybody else first, then it's it's a fucktard sandwich. I don't know if I can say that, but seriously, it's a power vacuum, and he's trying to absorb as much power as he can right now. So just tell him, there's a sequence, a way that we got to do this that will, have him concede his power and reduce his power. If not, he will only get stronger.
I agree with Dr. Dan, and a fucktard sandwich is the correct medical terminology to use in this case. Seriously speaking, though, you have to take off the head of the snake. You have to fight the bully. It is on face value, Trump. I would go one step further, and just to be sure, just to be thorough, must be extracted as well. I don't give a fuck how many black eyes they gave him. I want him out. He never should have fought this election, and it's a huge mark on our democracy in our history.
You know what? To that point, it's one of the reasons why I miss John McCain so terribly. I miss him so terribly because I think he got the closest of all politicians that I know of trying to get dark money out of politics. I really think he got the closest to getting it done. And that's why I want everybody exposed, because buying elections and the dark money that's involved is on both sides. And we need to strip that clean. There needs to be limitations on contributions. The loopholes need to be closed. These PACs need to be regulated and they need to be. My industry is more regulated than PACs are. It's crazy to me. All of that needs to be done. And I want everybody that is suspect, they need to be outside with no drawers on, with their booty cheeks flapping in the wind. Everybody, I don't care what party they're in, everybody needs to be exposed.
Amen.
Booty cheeks in the wind, that's a bit far. It's a bit far. But I understand your sentiment, for sure.
And it's fourth quarter, it's fair game now. Speak from the heart, speak from the gut, because we need to reach this next generation and let them know what time it is. So, and that is what they understand. We just listen to the presidents, they grab them by the, you know what, they're a bunch of rapists, referring to Chris, while he's recruiting and selling, basically. Normalcy of this behavior is unacceptable, period.
I still think we're shake something. He's going to be our wartime president.
He's trying. You're right. That assassination attempt was the biggest rally for him to be the wartime president. And I put a link in the chat. I'll put it back in the chat. But y'all, when you see this link about this different angle, his team, after he got shot, runs right in front of the line of fire, casually, just like it's a WWE event, or basically it looks like a concert. And when they grab the photographers, like, okay, come over here now, and they position the photographers. That's what Trump's. I don't know if it was a production assistant, if it was someone from his administration, in the very low, and they have this angle, and they lower the flag too for that position when he raises his. It was insane. And I've worked on Hollywood sets. It is definitely a rally to make him, as Dan described, a war president.
I just see how he's my large indicator. Like I hear what you're saying, and I think that's definitely involved. But my push button was when I'm starting to look at how he's shaping the economy, how he's shaping the education system and the economy at the same time, and the way it's looking under the guise of culture wars and the exclusion and deportation of people. This is eerily similar to what World War II was like. You know what I'm saying? They did this for the Japanese internment camps. They pushed people out. They had to have all the men fly out to fight wars, and the women, they were the women and minorities and children. They filled the industrial plants. The thing that's missing now is we just need to reindustrialize, and that's what we're claiming that we're trying to do with automation. But it's just this is a war 3.0. We're building up to it, and the fascism that comes in play. It's hard for me to not see a fascist country that hasn't created war. They rose out of that through fascism and a fascist war. And there's too many things that are lining up based on historical context. I'm just saying, on a macro level, that's what I'm saying. So it seems like we're going right there, and all we needed was that psychopath, megalomaniac type person to sit on the throne of that country's version of fascism. And we're here now, and we have our person who's he's looked like he's sitting on the throne of fascism. So on American fascism. So I don't know. I do think it will run its course. I do think that we will make it through. I just don't know what America's going to be once we've run through this course. And as we're going through it, it is hurting like a motherfucker right now. And there's a lot of blood already as far as I'm concerned. So.
Now you understand the campaign for Make America Great Again. By the time this fucker's done with it, we are going to have to make America great again. We're going to have to do a lot to move the needle right back to zero. But thank God for automation and everything else, because we will be. ChatGPT has given me enough hope with 5 of the bright minds of this country, of the next generation. It's like we have nothing but solutions, and it is that much more insulting when some pedophile comes and tries to label us as a problem.
I don't think that's going to stop them. I mean, we talk all day on this pedophiles. That's not going to stop them.
It's going to unify. It's going to unite this country like you've never seen. You think Me Too movement was a fucking movement? Watch what happens when everybody sees what it is.
Okay, until somebody sets off a bomb in the middle of Times Square. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like there's so many different things that are so hotbed right now, where if anything goes off, it'll negate this pedophile shit in a heartbeat.
Hold on, Dan. Let's run it back. 9/11, right? Was Bush ever accused of fuck shit with kids? Hell no. That's the whole reason why we went to war. Let's be fucking real. If he was really wrapped up in that shit, he was just a dude. He was related to Will Ferrell. He was the president you wanted to have a beer with, right? They literally, when the planes hit, right, and where was he? In a kid's classroom, right? Let me just walk through. All the way. I'm almost done. I'm gonna land right here. They had a sister. They were hiding behind a sister who was a teacher, reading to children like 9/11 was a lullaby, right? Just like Ella said earlier, I couldn't even fathom that or wrap my head around that, like a demolition, like whatever, whether you believe it's set up or not. I just can't even fathom. 2 747s going into the Twin Towers. It's not to kick kids. So they started before the planes even hit. All right, kids, we're going to read this story right now. What does this word say? Plane. What does this word say? Steal. Okay, faster. Must. Hit. It was, I'm not making this up, but hindsight is 2020. And if we're not going to be, genuine, if we're not going to be transparent here, you're right, we are headed towards repeating insanity. But it's not, you know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say.
Okay, so let me add one thing just for, to add to the calculus of our understanding of society and how it operates, okay? I've seen and heard there's been Like, if Trump decides to have a come to Jesus moment, he will be forgiven. All sins will be forgiven. And let me tell you why. There's been plenty of churches where the head of their church has been caught doing some foul shit, even pedophilia, right? But they come clean, they take it back to Christ, and then they ask for the. That is the fucking American that we live in, and that's what I'm afraid that we are capable of doing, of forgiving this motherfucker if he has a come to Jesus moment. And the evangelical has already built it into their understanding that he is the sinner that is going to save. It's built in to our understanding. That's where we're fucking headed. I'm rest.
I agree with you there. If he was intelligent like a pastor, or you want to say intelligent like a pastor, but if he was intelligent, you're right. That would be his defense. That would be the smart thing to do. But damn, just like I say, the no weapon shall.
Essentially. And that's what's really scary, is that at least they felt that they had to closet their
Before.
yes. And now they're just completely open. And just, it's so crude.
Yeah.
We have an Anon in the room, and I'm pretty sure it's one of those people that records.
Things you don't want here. Can you throw them out? There's not a way to do it. No. Oh, well, all right. Victoria and Andrew and David, it's been great to see you. We will just teach this person to go fuck themselves. Excuse my French. If that's indeed what they're doing, yes. Well, but you know what? I mean, I don't. The feature, there's no other feature to it. Yeah.
Psychopaths aren't necessarily. Yeah, there is no guardrails against these psychos.
Well, you know, I think it's unfortunate that when we have all these discussions about it, and I'm not really afraid of it, but I am sensitive to the people who don't want a room recorded. I want to be sensitive to it, and yet what's so sad about it is we lose a lot of great content. And I think that's the most unfortunate thing. Like, I didn't record that room yesterday, and in one sense, I can see where if you were on one side of the issue, you might not want it recorded. But on the other sense, here was a person I won't even say since we have the Synod in the room, but Victoria, you could probably guess who it was, who never steps out, and she stepped out, and I was so goddamn proud of her. And I just wish we could celebrate it, you know. So there's two sides to the same coin, I guess. Yeah. And Margarita, we do see you. Unfortunately, there is an Anon in the room who we cannot eliminate. It's unbelievable to me. Like, yeah, let me just take a look. Did they?
I wish these anuses would just disappear. I don't understand why Clubhouse is created this shitty feature which just allows people to basically stop their behavior.
Hilarious. I mean, I know why they did it. They did it.
I would have paid a subscription.
Right, to not have them. Well,
yeah.
Too late. They've already made a decision. So, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It shows me that they had a covert strategy all along to spy on people, and it was the easiest thing that was already laying around in code that they could monetize. This shows me how lazy they are, and how not just deaf, but immune to feedback.
I think this is the problem with not having a diverse workforce, is that you end up with these dumbass ideas making it to production.
Yeah, and you didn't respond to me, Victoria, when I talked about the feminization, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I didn't even know what you meant by that. What is feminization? What I mean by that is we are true to there are things that are bad, and then there are things that should be intolerable. And I think that when people are doing things that are super destructive, I'm glad you asked that, David, because I didn't articulate what I meant. We're afraid to say this is bad. It's like if you look at classrooms today, my wife makes the comment, she was a school teacher, and I think she's absolutely right, that kids don't want to see another kid get in trouble. Well, that's a problem, because you need to lay down some standards that say these things are not a matter of opinion. We have, yes, we have freedom of speech, but freedom of speech doesn't mean that you can walk around yelling fire in a crowded theater.
What do you mean? You said something about the desire space that we should just halt right there. Kids don't want to X, and X was see other kids get in trouble.
Yes.
Let's just sit with the thing you don't. It's distasteful. What is it? It's distasteful. The kid being what you in the other room sound like you wanted accountability in the adult world, and what sounds like what might be getting imposed upon adults from the desire space of kids is that they don't want to see someone getting punched. I agree. I don't either. I don't like to watch the America's Funniest videos where people get kicked in the nuts. But some people like that shit. Just like there's a non-person's here for whatever their own self-entertainment is. You can't choose the pleasure or displeasure of others. You can only choose your reaction to it. So sit with what is it that the kid's getting in trouble for? And do you want to grant that the kid shouldn't be in trouble for anything? Or that the punishments might be too severe? Or the way that it was handled? But I think granting the premise is where you feminized what just happened. And I'm just joking about feminization. Because I think that that's a derogatory, that why are you associating gender to anything? What does feminization mean?
I think
it's taking it to derogatory.
Yeah, I think you're really referring to being like more submissive.
Yeah, and so it's just like can we just find a different label? That's just
okay. That's fine.
But I honestly don't think that I'm not offended by the use of the term. I think it's absolutely fine because even if you like read the Tao Te Ching, there's the masculine and then there's the feminine, the yin and the yang, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that like use of the term. I think Alan was using it correctly.
Okay,
I was trying to push back on the toxic masculinity. I that's all I meant is a counter to toxic masculinity. I think there is such a thing as too much passivity on the part of people who may doing things or have too much condemnation from the mother in their life, or we don't want to upset grandpa, we don't want to upset uncle so-and-so, so we let him go on all that is obnoxious views.
Well, what we know about sociology is that there is a bystander effect, and a lot of people might be bystanders, but to think that you know their parental relationship is the cause of it is jumping the gun.
Okay, David, that's fair. And I'm glad, Victoria, that you were defended. I just meant it as a counter. Victoria had been talking about toxic masculinity, and I agree with her. I'm absolutely in agreement that toxic masculinity is a problem, and that my masculinity shouldn't be determined by whether I own a gun or not.
Yeah, but I was referring to the how that term masculine has been butchered by the toxic individuals that think of, like, the reason it's even called toxic masculinity, it should just be called toxic dumb fucks. Sorry.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, that's fine. Okay, then that's fine.
I don't think it's very masculine. Right? I think these are people that I don't think have authority in their own lives.
Yes.
That end up basically, or they feel like maybe they suffered weird childhoods where their fathers didn't love them or something. I just don't think that these are I think masculinity appears far different. It's more capable. It's somebody that is able to wield influence, not through, the sword, but be able to encourage people to follow them. Like, that's not what we're seeing in these, entities and others in the world.
And I guess what I was referring to is people who I know, women who I know in my life, who dumb themselves down because they're smarter than their husbands. And I find that to be really obnoxious. Like, I like intelligent women, and I don't think femininity and intellect have anything to do with each other. In other words, you don't dumb yourself down because you're female.
There's a lot of people that are like feminine leaders. I don't think that femininity or masculinity have anything to do with being, intellectually apt or a leader.
So we're on the same page. And David, thank you for pushing that. See, now Dr. James made me nervous, because what I really meant to say in that room is I didn't mean to say I was trying to disagree with Victoria or with Rachel. What I was trying to say was there's another side.
Can we explore this topic further?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I meant. And the language, it's like now I've got a thing. I never want to talk about penetrating a market, because I used to work with a woman who got upset when that was used, because she thought that was a sexist way of approaching it. Like, okay.
I don't like policing language, because I think having learned different languages and taught, like, teaching English as a second language, people have different ways of referring to things, depending on the culture, depending on how they learned the language, and they're, colloquial terms that shouldn't spark ire in people.
You're free to penetrate anytime you want.
Thank you. And I really like the discussion. I will add that I cannot work with O&M people. That's people who teach travel skills, who are too cautious. I just can't do it. They if they have too many don'ts and avoid this and avoid that, I can't work with them. In chemistry, it just won't work. So I appreciate you not being a language police, Victoria, and I appreciate you understanding what I mean. I'm not. Anyhow, we're done. I'm done on that topic, at least. Is our non-friend still here?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, full lubed up, probably mid-stroke.
Oh, jeez.
Penetrating the illusion.
That was a penetrating illusion. I love that. That was really something. Wow. Okay. Now. God, that's too good. Oh, man.
I missed my calling, I guess. Damn engineering school.
Yeah, comedian.
It's all about entropy and enthalpy and efficiency.
Yeah, but I like synergy more than entropy.
No, I was talking about mechanical engineering, both quantities.
I actually have to run, but it was a nice conversation prior to this being on person coming in.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. We hope to see you around.
Take care.
Bye.
Andrew, I'm sorry, not Andrew. Brian, did you hear about yesterday's little incident? And we will not mention the person who is involved because there isn't a non here.
Yeah, just say the capsizing.
Just
say the capsizing. Use colorful poetic.
A person we both know. Have you heard about this little dust up?
No.
Okay. Well, sometime, unfortunately,
somebody under the water raised a flag and it lost its water tightness and had to be scuttled.
Yeah. Well, Brian, I'm going to look for you at some point when I think it's a little more confidential and tell you about it.
deserves many kudos for standing up for themselves. And if that's not big enough, I don't know what is.
That's plenty big. You're right. You guys can take it up. It was a moment to stand up for oneself, and the person didn't take the feedback very well, gracefully, even though he's more than competent to stand for scrutiny. Let's put it that way. Anyway, he dove before battening down the hatches.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay. That group sent me the person's name so I can knock them off like this. Oh.
What's coming?
Okay, so I actually may have a couple bras that you can have. Size has not gone down by any stretch of the imagination, but my pants size has. So the other day I had a bra on and I had to like take the straps and crisscross them to get more tension. Yes. When I tell you, I was like, this bra was too much.
Yeah, when I started delegating and not stopping, I used to have to get ready for all sides just so later.
Miss anything here, so he's using it a little bit as an assistant, but never to write the original work. As far as we can work with screenwriters, if that's what you're asking about a treatment, that is, we've had people do the workshop. I mean, I've been doing workshops in real life for, a long time. This just happened to have developed organically on Clubhouse because people had projects and they knew my background, so they were coming to me, and I do work with individuals on books, and I ended up being asked if I would do the workshops, and that's how it developed. But originally it was just books, but we've had people who have screenplays, so that's what you mean by treatments.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I meant. So perfect. Well, that's a luck, and maybe one day I may be visiting you. I'm working on this concept where this one Puerto Rican and Dominican woman from New York goes to live to Texas, and then she slowly transforms from liberal to a MAGA Republican, and she ends up kind of terrorizing online platforms. I think when I name this person Melody as the title, because this is what jumps out at me.
Yeah.
What do you think of that premise?
Right.
Are you talking to me?
He was talking what makes you think I'm talking about Mel? I said Melody.
Nigga, you are selling the lady, I guess. What he said? I'm not even listening because I'm walking to the pool, so I didn't hear what he was saying. I was lightweight listening because I was making my lunch. And I heard him describing this book that he gonna write, and I'm like, a person that moved from New York, a woman that moved from New York to Texas, and she slowly becoming the MAGA supporter of that woman. You're so funny.
And you thought he was so good. Well, if we have I do have a reel of people who've taken the workshops on Clubhouse. You might recognize some of their voices talking about the experience, which I can share with you if you have 2 minutes right now, but I don't want to take over the room with this. I know that's not what we're talking about right now. So up to you.
They ain't talking about shit.
Mel's in charge.
Yeah, they're not talking about nothing, so.
All right, let me play for you. There's a couple people who've been through the workshops who are talking about it, and here we go. I'd like to invite past participants to share a little bit of your experience going through the workshop.
This workshop was enlightening for me to hear other people's contributions. To learn from the styles of the others and their skills and strengths. We all kind of grew from the experience. Al kind of guided us and mentored us along the way. So, in essence, you could experience the benefit of the workshop if you were trying to do it by yourself. And I think that's the beauty and the purpose of it.
I have a book coming out in February. So you might think, you're already a writer. What do you need a writer's workshop for? What I did not have was a real discipline around writing, communicating my thoughts in writing. So one of the things that was really great for me about the workshop was, quite frankly, writing on demand. That's probably my biggest takeaway from the workshop, of just write it, right? If you told me I had 6 weeks to write it, or 6 hours, or 6 minutes, you can do it. So it was really powerful and validating and encouraging for me to see what the group was able to come up with in the space of 10 minutes or 7 minutes. It kind of took the pressure off of, you're being too hard on yourself. Just sit down, just write, and just trust that you have something to say. And I just feel way more equipped and disciplined than I did before, which is kind of a miracle over the course of just a few weeks. The exercises, oh my gosh, this has really got me to get off my self-critical ass, just get going, putting the writing wheels in motion, so to speak. It's been so motivating. The exercises help me jumpstart that creative process and then keep me there. What Denise had mentioned, you've got this time and you just got to go. You just do it. And wow, it just opened my mind to so many more possibilities to be able to get through those blocks and enjoy the process, the journey along the way. And of course, with my comrades here with Jordan and Denise and Victoria, who so inspired me, and discovering things about myself, just the energy, just this fantastic energy in the room. I just felt free, and the best way I can describe it is like a trapeze artist. And you grab that bar, and you gotta swing, and then you've gotta let go and trust that that other person is gonna catch you, that even if you fall, there's a net. And that's what I felt through the whole thing, is that safety net. I felt like there is no wrong, just do it. And that's what I'm so grateful for. I didn't have any sort of writing project specifically. I just wanted to get back into the swing of creative writing, and this really helps sort of open up more possibilities or opportunities. But your writing was the word I was trying to put stop, because writing can be very therapeutic, and that was I got the most out of. So I would highly encourage people, even if you don't have a project that you're looking to work on. We all go through life, we all have different experiences, and journaling, poetry, it's really helpful. I would say that it was very much like a therapeutic opportunity. Oh, you have been so amazing. And I love the fact that our personalities are all totally different. We're just totally different people, different perspectives, come from different parts of the country, have different backgrounds, and to just learn from each other and hear from each other, we all got something special out of it. If your schedule allows, and I suggest you make your schedule allow, it's just a worthwhile endeavor to fall in love with the written word. I resoundingly endorse this workshop. It was really amazing.
Yeah, so that gives you a little taste of what people have experienced.
One of those voices sounds familiar. I can just get
It might have been Denise Hamilton, who you may know. Denise wrote a book that came out last year called Indivisible. The other people were Odile Curcio, I don't know if you know Odile, Dr. Jordan, and Victoria, who's been in and out of this room. I know there's been some engagement with Victoria.
That's cool.
Yeah, thanks. It was like I said, it was totally an experiment, because people kept coming to me saying, oh, I have this project, but they weren't in a position to be able to hire me to work with them. And then finally somebody said, well, would you do your workshops? And I thought, well, I've never done anything online that way. I mean, I do like writing retreats, all over the country and things like that. But it turned out to be really a great platform to do it on. It's totally different than being in a normal clubhouse room. I mean, we don't multitask. We don't ever record anything. I have no recordings of the workshops because it's very intimate. People get very emotional. They're writing about very personal stuff. So it's really a safe place. But this is, we're on our fifth one right now. And I was trying to decide whether to keep doing them because I'm working on my last book and have other projects, but decided that as I'm watching these people grow and seeing work getting done, it's just too good not to. So I've actually approached Clubhouse and asked them if they would consider sponsoring one person each session, just because not everybody can come up with the money to do the workshops. They're not tremendously expensive, but they aren't free either. And I want to see as many people be able to have this experience as possible. So, and it gives me a lot. It's really an honor and a pleasure to get to midwife other people's work. So, yeah, thanks for letting me share it.
You give me 6 more months on this app, trust me, I got more stories already. Just every character, every person that comes on this app, I mean, y'all are characters. I mean, I know I'm a character too, but y'all are real characters.
There's a movie here, Dan. There's a movie called Clubhouse for sure.
Oh yeah, I believe it because I mean, like I know people don't use their real names, and sometimes people want to tell their stories, and sometimes the stories are truthful or exaggerated, but just the conversations, man, like it's just amazing. And I'd love to mix a couple of these people together and make a story. That would be fun. Trey would definitely have to be like, he's definitely a character. He'd probably be the antagonist. But Rickle, you'd probably be the hero, maybe.
Who's gonna play Trent?
Cigarette out your mouth.
Well, and I want to
Say what?
Who are you gonna cast to play Trent?
No, I wouldn't say it would be his like persona, right? That's what I would look at his persona and figure out like how can I like take his logic and reasoning and his being, and kind of mix it up with somebody else because I can't do him just directly. I have to mix it up with somebody else, right? And then create a story where he's just living a MAGA world, and then he comes in contact with somebody like a mixed character of like Lisa, Patty, and Brooklyn, right? If I can put all those three characters together, that'd be a wild character. And if you have those people together, maybe you and Trent mixed together with Royal, fireworks. I wouldn't call it a bestseller. It would be definitely entertaining, for sure.
I was just playing devil's advocate, even if you had someone in mind, like to play Trent.
It's true, this place is full of characters. I mean, I see it. When I came on the app, I was really involved in the Ukrainian SIDREP for months. And I mean, that place was so full of characters and intrigue and drama. And then I got to know other people on the app and it was like, oh my God, there's a movie here. There is really a movie called Clubhouse when you think about the different characters who are on this app. I want to respond to you, Ramona, in the chat. You were talking about how you would be able to read your work. It's a really good question. And like I said, we had actually somebody who's blind in the last couple of workshops. And what we do is he does his writing and then he sends it to me. And then one of us read it aloud for him because you're quite right. The same adaptability that allows him to be doing it on Clubhouse. It negates his ability to then read his work. So I know exactly what you're asking, and we actually hacked it, we solved it, which was great because he's listening to another person in the group who happens to be a voice work artist read his whole book. So he's almost like hearing an audible version of his work, which is just amazing. It's very collaborative in that regard. So yeah, we kind of worked that out so that people who are blind could easily do the workshop.
Okay, I got an elevator pitch for you. You ready? I'm envisioning a social audio app where the cast of characters much resemble us, organically, naturally come together and definitely a investor comes into one of the rooms, which makes a turn of events a reality, where they end up backing and sponsoring us to do a full stop regime change in the U.S. government. So it goes from a social audio app to reality, and the tagline would be, "We vote with our time."
I love it. I totally can picture this. Now I can hear how your mind works and how you develop things. This is great. I love that.
Manifest what we want to watch, right?
100%. You have to be there to get there.
I love it. Shout out to you. I wish you nothing but success with the work. It sounds like it doesn't need much more promoting. Sounds like it's running on its own. That's awesome.
Well, it is, and the thing is, I only allow 4 people per workshop because I just can't give people the amount of attention that they need and the quality of attention with any more than 4 people in a 2-hour workshop. So that limits my ability to only be able to do that. So I will be, like I said, opening registration for September, probably this next week. But I can always do 2 workshops at a time. But my plate is starting to fill up. I'm also still recovering from lung cancer. I was diagnosed a little over a year ago, and Clubhouse was amazing. I mean, I had this realization that I'm used to just sort of pushing through things. I've been doing it my whole life. And when I first got sick, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to work more. I'm gonna have to just do more. And it was like, no, this is not going to work this time. Like, that's my MO. And it was like, no. And I ended up having to get back to really big lucrative projects. And I did a GoFundMe. And I was transparent about it on Clubhouse. And people just came through for me. I mean, I did it in real life community as well. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I've never asked anybody for a cent. But I really needed help in order to take 6 months to just heal and focus on my own recovery, and hopefully everything will be fine. I'll catch you guys up next week after the CAT scan.
Wow, that's congratulations on beating so far. I was looking up while you're talking. Maitake and reishi, specifically reishi mushrooms, are really good mushrooms for lung cancer. Shiitake as well. Shiitake, maitake, and reishi are all 3 great mushrooms. Shiitake is delicious. Reishi is like something you want to make with a tea, and then maitake you can cook with as well. It's saute.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm very into functional medicine, so I'll write that down.
Can I ask you a question too? Is it L or LA or what's L?
L like the letter L.
Okay, so just taking it back to the politically correct thing, how will what the political landscape has been like and the laws that have recently been passed gonna affect your treatment and or the delivery of your treatment? Has that been determined yet, or are you still kind of waiting for that, or you anticipate something like? Because I know this is
talking about insurance coverage.
Yeah, just all that stuff. Like, how is that going to impact it? Is it going to impact it within the lifetime of your treatment, or is it something that is kind of outside of that?
Yeah.
That time frame.
Well, hopefully I don't need any more treatment, but I'm actually 71 years old, so I'm on Medicare, and I also have a secondary policy, which is killing me. I mean, my monthly premiums for insurance before out-of-pocket meds is almost $600 a month. That said, I haven't paid a penny for anything in years, for any doctors, any hospital, any treatments, nothing. So I spend a lot of money on healthcare, but they shouldn't be able to touch any of that because it's not Medicaid, it's actually Medicare.
So you're in the clear for now, so that's good to hear. So
yeah, I mean, presumably everything is fine. We'll see on Monday what the CAT scan shows. If it hasn't metastasized, we'll just continue to be good to go. So that's what I'm hoping for. Thanks for asking.
Got this.
Yeah, no problem.
mint tea person, but that's because some of the meds I'm on make me nauseated. So I'm kind of a mint tea person, but I do ginger tea as well.
Oh, yeah, turmeric obviously is really good to add to that. Yeah, I have 2 aunts that beat breast cancer, and yeah, it's so sad seeing women younger and younger, facing cancer. Um, it really is, let food be thy medicine, as they say. Enjoy salad instead.
Andrea Gibson is the poet laureate of Colorado. Absolutely amazing human being, and they died of ovarian cancer, and she was just unbelievable. And if you really want to hear something that's going to blow your mind, I was playing one of her spoken word pieces for you. It's called Yes, and it actually relates to this room. If you'd let me share this, I would be grateful, because we've been talking about stuff that is so hard and painful, and we struggle with it every day. I would love to share this with you, because this is so beautiful. Let me see if I can grab it. This is Andrea Gibson. She passed away on Monday. She's all over the internet. If you do Substack or Instagram or TikTok, you're going to see her. I'm going to say there because she's trans. They are trans, so I want to be respectful to her pronouns here. It doesn't really matter at the moment one way or the other, but let me share this with you. The poem is called Yes, and let me grab it. Okay, here we go. Hang on a second. When 2 violins are played. Whoops, sorry. Give me a second. All right, here we go. When 2 violins are placed in a room, if a chord on one violin is struck, the other violin will sound that same note. If this is your definition of hope, this is for you. For the ones who know how powerful we are, who know we can sound the music and the people around us simply by playing our own strings. For the ones who sing life into broken wings, open their chests and offer their breath as wind on a still day when nothing seems to be moving. Spare those intent on proving God is dead. For you. Ew, what are you playing? Ew. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I wasn't on mic. This is Andrea Gibson, who is the poet laureate of Colorado, who passed away on Monday from ovarian cancer, who's an incredible force to be reckoned with. And this is her poem called, her spoken word poem called Yes. Okay, sweetheart. Thank you. Yes. So, I didn't realize that I was my poem to listen to. Thank you. Yeah, no. She 100%, and I gotta get her to send it. Oh, sorry. Okay. I was at 100%, and she's getting some more time. Did you say yes or no? Are you okay with what?
How Gen X are getting their teenage bodies back. So this is my mom and this is my grandma. I recently posted a picture.
Okay, here we go.
When 2 violins are placed in a room, if a chord on one violin is struck, the other violin will sound that same note. If this is your definition of hope, this is for you. For the ones who know how powerful we are, who know we can sound the music and the people around us simply by playing our own strings. For the ones who sing life into broken wings, open their chests and offer their breath as wind on a still day when nothing seems to be moving. Spare those intent on proving God is dead. For you, when your fingers are red, from clutching your heart so it will beat faster, for the time you mastered the art of giving yourself for the sake of someone else. For the ones who have felt what it is to crush the lies and lift truth so high, the steeples bow to the sky. This is for you. This is for that moon. On the night she seems hung by a noose. For the people who cut her loose. For the people still waiting for the rope to burn, about to learn they have scissors in their hands. This is for the man who showed me the hardest thing about having nothing is having nothing to give. Was that the only reason invented to live is to give ourselves away. So this is for the day we'll work for something real. We'll feel for sunshine in the shadows, look for sun rays in the shade. This is for the people who rattle the cage that slave wage. For the ones who didn't know the filth until tonight. But right now, I'm beginning songs that sound something like people turning their porch lights on and calling the homeless back home. This is for everything we own. For the day we'll learn how much we have when we learn to give that all away. This is for doubt becoming faith, for falling from grace and climbing back up, for trading our silver platter for something that matters, and the gold that shines from our hands when we hold each other. This is for your grandmother, who walked 1,000 miles on broken glass to find that single patch of grass, to plant a family tree where the fruit would grow to laugh. For the ones who know the math of war has always been subtraction, so they live like an action of addition. For you, when you give, like every star is wishing on you, and for the people still wishing on stars, this is for you too. This is for the time you went through hell so someone else wouldn't have to. For the time you had a 14-year-old girl, she was powerful. For the time you had a 14-year-old boy, he was beautiful. For the radical anarchist asking a Republican to dance, because what's the chance of anyone moving from right to left if the only moves they see are Fox News? This is for no becoming yes, for fear becoming trust, for saying I love you to people who will never say it to us, for scraping away the rust and remembering how to shine, for the dime you gave away when you didn't have a penny, for the many beautiful things you do, for every song you've ever sung, for refusing to believe in miracles because miracles are the impossible coming true and everything is possible. This is for the possibility that guides us, and for the possibility still waiting to sing and spread their wings inside us, because tonight Saturn is on his knees proposing with all of his 10,000 rings of whatever song we've been singing. We sing even more. The world needs us right now. We're handing out flashlights in the dark. Start handing out stars. Never go a second hushing the percussion of your heart. Play loud. Play like you know the clouds left too many people cold and broken. And you're their last chance for sun. Play like there's no time for hoping brighter days will come. Play like the apocalypse is only 4, 3, 2, but you have a drum in your chest that could save us. You have a song like a breath that could raise us like a sunrise into a dark sky that cries to be blue. Play like you know we won't survive if you don't, but we will if you do. Play like Saturn is on his knees, proposing with all of his 10,000 rings that we give every single breath. Y'all, this is for saying yes.
That's Andrea Gibson. May she rest in peace.
Cool way to start the day.
We get so buried in despair that, this was a very, very bright light who affected so many millions of people. And I'm just, in the Jewish tradition of mourning for a year, I'm going to be playing this every day for this year.
The mitzvah, as your people will say,
So back to you, Patty.
She was ill. I'm sorry. What's that?
You know what? I don't know, but I'm going to guess maybe like around 48. But let me check. I don't know. I know she was diagnosed 2 years ago. This was recorded right after she was diagnosed. You can see watching. I keep saying she, and I need to stop doing that. I need to say they because Andrea is trans. I don't know how old. You can see that they're struggling a little bit for breath in this, but I mean, if you check out something called button poetry, That's where some of the best spoken word is. Let me check and see how old they're.
Yeah, I didn't need to know exact, but that point was she was young. Very young.
I was right, she's 49. Just shy of turning 50. There was an amazing poem that somebody shared. It was a reel of her sitting there reading something.
Thanks, Pat.
Absolutely, you're very welcome. I would say anytime. I was woefully ill-equipped to do that. So, yeah, it was.
Thanks. You have a great voice. I almost thought you were a computer. I don't get it.
Cool.
So what does it all mean? Stupid ass thing like, ooh, we're good, let's go power. Y'all don't have no fucking power. Most of y'all ain't even your own boss. You working for a white people. Okay? So when y'all talk about these things about wielding power, I think the reason why y'all are so obsessed with having power over your woman is because you don't have any power anywhere else in your life. So you are obsessed with having power over your woman. You begging for woman, you Can I begging a woman? Can I actually? You're crazy. Go ahead. I just think it's wild that people that have no
What?
you don't have no power in
She's
your own life.
deleted it.
So you're obsessed with coming home and trying to dominate over somebody else. Because you can't tell your boss to go fuck themselves. You can't tell your boss to shut up. So now you're gonna go home and tell that woman to shut up. I laugh at y'all niggas every single day. I'm so glad. Because you know what? I didn't want to listen to somebody, so I went out and became my own boss. You should do it too. Instead of crying in the car thinking you're gonna wield some type of power over somebody that you don't have.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
No, because I'm next.
So, I don't know, fuck you, just get in and talk about you next. This is cute. Nah, go ahead, bro. You been in the better take me away than the other brother away. You gotta wait.
Yeah, let me get a cue then.
Man, get the fuck up, man. Yeah, I know. I'm done. We literally just said that. But go ahead. Yeah, I know. I just know it's not wrong. Yes, sir.
You right now.
Rob, and then there was another brother that asked me to speak bad for a minute. And then Rick.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks. So, I was just listening, and I put it in the chat that there's no way out there. I've been right before. I'm saying somebody right now. We're very serious. If I love you, I'm not trying to put my hands on you. Only when I'm putting my hands on somebody is to protect myself. If I need to protect myself from a woman that I'm with, I'm not going to be with her in the first place. I just don't believe in putting your hands on somebody. I have no right. I don't. And there's a woman with adults. So I don't control you. We don't control each other. You're my woman and I'm your man. You're my wife and I'm your husband. But that doesn't mean I control you because I'm your husband. It doesn't mean that I run roughshod over you because I'm your husband. Sure, I'm the head of the household, but it doesn't mean that I have rights to put my hands on you because you leave you in a room. It just means that if you get that way, I'm just going to leave you alone. But that doesn't give me the right to put my hands on you. And they'll talk about this traditional thing about what men used to do. Most men traditionally didn't put their hands on their husbands or they put their hands on their wives. Most men weren't beating their women over the head. These weren't. I mean, some were, just like some do now. Which
Mhm.